coach. Yeah. Player for real. Yeah. I keep it player for real. Yeah. Yeah. Player for real. Yeah. I'm a true player for real. Yeah. Player for real. Yeah. I keep it player for real. Yeah. Yeah. Player for real. Yeah. I'm a true player for real. These ain't Trill. These ain't Phil Jackson. These ain't John Madden.
Welcome into the Players Perspective Uncensored Podcast. I'm your host, Larry O'Bannon. Appreciate you guys for tuning in with us as always. But before we get into the podcast, make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe, like, leave us reviews. That's how we continue to grow as a podcast. Make sure you go to your favorite podcast platform, whether it be Apple Podcasts, whether it be Spotify, Audible. Subscribe, leave us reviews. That's how we continue to blossom on this podcast. But today we got special guests, man. And when I say special guest, I mean a special guest. He has been in coaching 47 years, 2016 Kentucky Athletic Hall of Fame, national champion, national coach of the year, 426 wins, 68% win percentage. We got Louisville's own Scotty Davenport in the building. Coach, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Larry, what an honor. It is. It's an honor.
It's an honor to have you on, man. And for our bourbon selection of the day, we got Mitker's 10-year. Comes in at 94 proof, 47% alcohol volume. Special bottle to me. It is a bottle that I've only cracked open in 4 instances. When I got engaged, when I got married, my first son was born, my second son was born. So, Coach, man, we cracking open this bottle of 10-year, man.
Are you serious?
For the Hall of Famer. Yeah, for the Hall of Famer.
Oh, my gosh.
Man. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the podcast, brother.
Wow, Larry. Oh.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Let me know what you think about this, Coach. It's a nice bottle, 2017 bottle.
That's smooth.
It is.
That is smooth. That's what I look for.
Let's say it got a nice, not too much caramel, not too much vanilla, kind of a blend. You could definitely taste the oak. I love a good bourbon that you can really kind of accentuate the oak taste. Good aftertaste, not a lot of heat. Nice and smooth, like you said.
Larry,
and,
you just already slam dunk.
Yeah. But it's a reason it's an allocated bourbon. It's hard to find, though, man. But
is it? Okay.
Special bourbon for the Hall of Famer,
wow,
man.
Larry. To make a statement.
Coach D, man, let's hop into the podcast. What inspired you, or what was the background that made you want to get into coaching, or what was your inspiration to getting into coaching?
I'm going to say it's probably different. Larry, I grew up on Central Avenue. A lot of people had a swing set in their backyard. I had Churchill Downs, 1508 Central Avenue. And I think where I was born to be a coach took an incredible journey. October 31st, 1965, Halloween Day, a Sunday, a beautiful, beautiful, not a cloud in the sky Sunday, 1:45 in the afternoon. You know, Larry, think when you're 9 Halloween and you've got 2 boys, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, that's pretty good. And 15 feet from me, my father drops dead of. Now, my mom had lost, I had a little brother who passed at birth. I had an older sister. Now it's just my mom. My sister's 5 years older than me, Vicky, and myself. Well, my dad, Larry, grew up in Greene County, Kentucky, right across the road, not street, road from my mom. Grew up on a farm. And when I say farm, it was cattle, it was crops, total farm. World War II, serves our country. Comes back, blue-collar worker, American Standard, in a factory. Not a hint of athletics. Not like the O'Bannon family. Not a hint of athletics. Why, Larry? Why? The summer prior to him passing that tragically, did he build me the best backyard basketball goal in all of the South End of Louisville. It wasn't like he was this basketball Benny, parent. And then as time went on, I think it all came to fruition. I went to Fraser Elementary. I went to Southern Junior High, and junior high, not middle school. And I made the 9th grade team as an 8th grader. And that was a big thing. It's only 4 of us.
Oh,
that was a big thing.
Yeah, that's a real big feat.
Well, our coach, a gentleman named Vernon Wool, he was perfect. To give you a reference point, if you look at Ken and Barbie, he was Ken. He was perfect. So he tells us 2 days before our first game that everybody must wear a tie to school because he wants us to look great and be special. Well, Larry, I had one tie, and it was from my dad's funeral. What kind of tie did I have? See, you're too young. I had a clip-on tie. The fake, just clip it on.
Oh, I'm familiar with those.
But it was from my dad's funeral in the 4th grade. I mean, my tie came right here. That wouldn't have been swaggy in the 9th grade or 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
So I go to the coach the day before the first game, and I said, Coach Wool, I said, he said, do you have a tie? I said, yes, sir. My mother had gone to the neighborhood department store on 7th Street Road, Arlen's, and bought me 2 ties. I said, yes, sir, I have 2 ties. He said, meet me an hour early outside of school, and I'll sneak in. He sneaks me in, goes into his classroom, and teaches me. He ties the tie around his neck, takes it and puts it around me, brings it up. Well, what's the next step? Game after game after game. He's going to teach me how. Not just tie it around him and then put it around me.
Right.
Well, you think about it. Think about, as I sit before you today, where have I worn a tie to? The games you played, Final Four, your senior night, conference championships, a state championship at Ballard, getting married, my son's weddings. Think of where I've worn a tie to in my life as I sit before you. It's pretty amazing. I've never tied a tie in my life. I haven't looked up. Thank you, Coach Wool. But the purpose of these coaches turned my life around. And I figured this up in preparation of this. In the last 42 months, I've been to 14 funerals. Guys 2 years older than me, they were seniors when I was a sophomore. 2 years younger than me, I was a senior and they were a sophomore. Teammates, best friends. A lot of them, they lived hard. How come that wasn't me? It was basketball. It was teachers, coaches, principals, assistant principals, school counselors. I mean, they saved my life. There's no doubt. I mean, they saved my life. I go to these best friends and I pay my respects. I pray for them, and I get in a car and drive home, and I'm just like, I'm the luckiest person in the world. I mean, the game of basketball. And I knew looking back in the 8th grade how much it was going to impact my life. And I have every one of them to this day. And I have them of your journey too. Every single day's practice, starting in the 8th grade. I just wrote, November 3rd, man, Tommy Sears, Mike Shaw, they were great today. Bruce Harrison, he had a tough day, but Coach Wool, he had us fired up and ready to go. And I wrote literally a diary, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and the 2 years as a walk-on JV player at the University of Louisville. And I've kept everything.
Wow.
So there was something that had got to me and said, okay, this is a way. And then there was a little point where I was going to be a pharmacist because the neighborhood pharmacy down our street, all those guys were superstars. I mean, they were, everybody in the world looked up to them. But I took chemistry as a freshman at the University of Louisville, and I think, I'm sure you had a class there in the Natural Science Building on the corner of Eastern Parkway and 3rd Street.
Right.
And the long walk and the big auditorium. I think in that room 101, the lecture auditorium, there's a seat with a plaque that says, here sits Scott Davenport, the worst chemistry student in the history of the University of Louisville. And I'm like, you're going to be a basketball coach and a teacher.
Tell you what, they had a plaque right next to it. It said Larry O'Bannon the second worst.
But I mean, I think, Larry, looking back, it was, looking back now, why did I start these diaries? Why did I write this backyard journal as the names all changed? And it was just a love of the game. But why did he build that in that backyard that summer? And the amount of people that played there It's unbelievable.
That was the inspiration.
Yes, no question.
That was the inspiration. Coach, you started junior varsity coach at Aaron's.
Yes, sir.
Then went to junior varsity coach at Ballard.
Yes, sir.
Then you became a graduate assistant at University of Louisville. After University of Louisville being the GA, you went to VCU with Mike Polio. After Mike Polio, came back home to Ballard. And that is where I first saw you. We hadn't met, but I was a little kid going to games, and I used to remember you calling timeouts and running, stomping your foot out on the floor, get the guy's attention. And as a kid that was like 6 or 7 years old, that was kind of intimidating to me. I'm like, oh, man, because I'm little league playing short stuff leagues, but here's a coach out here stomping, getting on his players, calling timeout.
Stop.
I was like, oh, man, I don't know if I
what's interesting, Larry?
for that.
One of the things I'm most proud of, 47 years coaching, 46 in this community, but one thing, all facets of this, when I say community, I don't just mean this one. My first 2 years of coaching at Aaron's High School, 1978 to 80, I will say this. I will argue with anyone, the most segregated school in the history of this state. Now, when I say segregated, people immediately jump to race. I'm not talking about race. It was segregated economically. Our African Americans were from Clarksdale Housing Project in that neighborhood. Most of the Caucasians were from Portland. That school had nothing. When they announced they were closing, nobody said anything. And I wouldn't trade that for a thing. They were the most appreciative young men ever because they didn't know any other way.
Right.
Well, they closed Aaron's. Louisville wins the 1980 state champion, our national championship. I take my wife to Market Square Arena because I had helped Coach Jones. He had some videotape problems, and I had to run up a videotape to him. And he said, I'll give you 2 tickets to the game. And I take Sharon to the game. And looking back, I told my mother, when I told my mom, Sharon and I were going to get married later that fall, I said, Mom, I need to talk to you. It's Sunday morning. I said, Sharon and I are going to get married. She goes, yeah, I knew that. Who told you? How did you know that? She said, when you had 2 tickets to a national championship game and that's who you took, that's who you're marrying.
Yeah.
She said, you knew. But what was ironic, then I get the JV job at Ballard under Mr. Pat Crawford, the principal, Jim Ruther, the AD, Donnie Sawyer, the coach, ended up being my best man at my wedding. And now I'm at the other end of the spectrum on economically in terms of the school. It's the most affluent school in this town.
Mm-hmm.
So I go from Aaron's to Ballard. I mean, you couldn't make a bigger leap. And now looking back, those relationships are all the same. Why? Because of basketball.
Right.
It didn't make any difference where they came from or how much their background or what car they drove to school. Were they different? Yes. But everybody had that same passion, and it was the game of basketball. But those 3 years as the JV coach at Ballard, and then when I go to VCU to be the assistant coach under Coach Polio, what gets missed, and I actually texted with him this morning because it's his birthday, is Tubby Smith and I are assistant coaches together.
I read that.
And my wife our son Russ is born August 30th, 1985, while I'm there. I mean, I was allowed to come home. I did not take her home from the hospital because Coach Polio was like, you get back over here. Tubby was the greatest. He would check on me all that time when I was over there and she was still here, waiting. Russ was like 2 or 3 weeks late. It was like, and Tubby Smith, there's no words to describe. We would go home, and I was literally staying in a dorm on campus, and would come back and get me. And we would end up in just a local establishment.
Mm-hmm.
But there'd be napkins and X's and O's on it. And then, you speed ahead, and I'll never forget the day he walked on the court at Freedom Hall, and he's the head coach at the University of Kentucky, and I'm right there under Coach Crum, sitting right next to him. And he goes, hey, babe, who would have ever thought this? And again, relationships and people. But it was that part of that journey was amazing. Coming back as the head coach, and, things always happen. Coach Polio was incredibly supportive. of me taking the job at Ballard because he goes, you need to be a head coach. At that era in coaching, a lot of assistants got labeled. Oh, they're a recruiter, they're an assistant, that's all they can do.
Right.
And he said, you need to be a head coach. And Ballard was a great program. You need to go. And the administration, Mr. Crawford, Mr. Ruther, then in the future, Sandy Allen, the principal, he said, you need to go. So I go. He calls me the next morning and goes, have you talked to them yet? I said, Coach, I'm talking to him at 10 o'clock. He goes, well, no, Eddie Webb, our other assistant, taking this other job. I want to name you associate head coach. You need to stay. 8 hours ago, you told me I had to go.
Oh, wow.
So but I'd made a commitment. We go, and immediately we're picked 7th in the 7th region. And I'll never forget telling my staff at the time, Mark Bugg, I hired, who had played with in high school. Terry hired a Louisville grade who had played with Westport for Coach Olson. John Whidden. I hired an unbelievable staff, and practice is going on. And I'm optimistic things are going to be okay. And I said, if I get Stanley Harden, rest his soul, called me the day that I got hired and said, I've never had Ballard and King of the Bluegrass, but they got a South End guy, and I'm having you now. And I said, we're there. And I told our coaches, I said, if we're 500 at Christmas, New Year's, we're going to be okay. We won the King of the Bluegrass.
Wow.
And we were on our way.
First year?
Yes, sir. And we were on our way. And it wasn't always smooth. Our first scrimmage, we went to Meade County. Larry, Meade County, playing Ballard. But my goal was, Larry Miller was their coach, who I knew very well, is that, we're going to be able to beat them. And they'll get some confidence in this young coach that's first-year head coach, and so we'll beat them.
Mm-hmm.
They beat us every way you could beat a team. And, scrimmage, you play 5 quarters, 6 quarters. We might have played 9 or 10. I still had my starters in. He was playing anybody he could find in the gym. I wasn't going to quit till we won 1 quarter.
Right.
Well, my decision driving home from Radcliffe Brandenburg was not, are we going to practice the moment we get home? How long are we going to practice? That's how I'm crushed. But I come to a little composure. We don't practice. And then off we go. But I watched every score that Meade County played all year, because that was my reference point. And it ended up being 15-15. And we get beat in overtime in the state championship game in Rupp Arena to Clay County.
Oh, wow.
But that team had backcourt 2 sophomore guards, Mark Bell, Allen Houston, a junior, Kenneth Martin, who they tell me, he didn't get to play in the JV. He just kind of a 10th guy. He was just on the team. And the very first day, open gym, I had a gentleman that kept all the stats for us at Ballard. And he said, what do you think? I said, tell me about the kid, Martin. Well, I ain't playing. I said, that kid learns to hit a 15-footer. He's going to be a player. That kid's going to be a player. Fast forward to that first round of the state tournament, he gets fouled on a missed free throw with 7 seconds to go, down 1. He hits a 101, and we advance. Same game. And his son, Keelan Martin, would go on to be a professional player and played at Butler. And Kenneth goes on to be an administrator in JCPS as an assistant principal and won a national championship at Kentucky Wesleyan. But those young men, I will say this about coaching those young men at Ballard, is in the summer of 2022, one of them, our center, Eric Gathright, had asked me, he said, let's get all the guys together. His son was in our basketball camp. He said, let's get all the guys together. So we planned September. And they all came. And he called me on Wednesday and said, 2 things, Coach. I said, what? We're ready. He goes, 2 things. You got to hit them up tonight. I said, what are you talking about? And Eric was the guy that drew charges, got rebounds, set screens.
Right.
Most selfless, unbelievable winner ever. Better monster football player.
Right.
And he says to me, he says, Coach, the guys want you to hit them up. No girlfriends, no wives. I say, Sharon's got all this food coming. What are you talking about? Why do you think, now, Larry, you're a young man. Why do you think he would have said no girlfriends, no wives?
Probably want to have similar locker room talk.
Okay. I'll give you 3/4 credit. You're all right. None of their wives, Todd Howard's the only one. None of the rest of their wives went to bed. And they all said, she'll want to leave at 9 o'clock. I don't know anybody. Come on, let's leave.
Yeah.
they walked out of my house at 2:38 a.m. And it's one of the greatest things I've ever done as a basketball coach in my life. It was Allen Houston in that glorious career to the Knicks. It was Mark Bell, his two nephews, Eric and Charlie McDuffie. It was Gathright. It was Kenneth. I was all of them. And I gave them a DVD of the state championship game, which then was not broadcast on the streams and all that. But I had the radio broadcast laid on a DVD and said, everybody gets one. I mean, this is Allen Houston, this glorified. You would have thought I gave him a Lexus automobile. They went crazy. But, it was special. And then it just built from there. Six Sweet 16s, DeJuan. You start with DeJuan and you just go on and on and on. In that period at Ballard, that 10-year period, there was 28 Division I.
That's incredible.
Well, but Larry, I'll tell you the smartest thing I did as a coach. Back then you were trying to get. I had one assistant I mentioned, Mark Bugg. He was in the financial business, and he had a real job. Terry had jobs, and so what I did, I just made all the sacrifices, and I gave the women both gyms after school, so everybody get there.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, okay, we're gonna. And Larry, I know you saw the end of this when I was just a maniac, but I said from school's out 2:20. I said 2:30 to 3:30. Everybody will be in a small cafeteria, and we're gonna have study hall. But here's how I sold it. If you go in there and you finish everything, number one, you're going to do better. But number two, when we start practice, your eyes better be on me. You better not be thinking, I got Mr. O'Bannon's assignment. I got to do that tonight. You know what? I want to watch I want to watch U of L play tonight. Man, I'm going to call Mary up on the phone. No, we're going to get all that done so you can do those. Well, they bought it.
Yeah.
They thought, okay, this is good. And then when you win, they look up, you're a freshman. Oh, man, there's Allen Houston. He's in here doing this. This must be the thing to do.
Right.
And then it just took off. But we did it for all 10 years.
Establishing the culture.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But everything was always done. Teachers and that faculty at Ballard, that was so special. If a guy needed to meet with a teacher, yeah, go just sign me a note when he send him back, let him write it down, you'll sign it. And they all thought, man, these basketball kids are unbelievable. We did it every year. All the coaches got home later. There was more sacrifice, but it was for the good of those young people.
Yeah.
And I mean, you saw me. You know how I was about
it. Scared me, man. but it paid off, which kind of leads into my next thing that I want to ask you about, coaches. The back-to-back state championship runs and like the folklore that continues to grow year after year between Allen Houston and Richie Farmer in the state championship. Talk about that experience and just the history and the iconic moment that it was when it was happening. You might not have realized it then, but just
You're right.
the performances.
Okay, let me give you the stats.
Between those two.
And you are right.
Yeah.
You don't realize it going through.
Yeah.
March of 1987, Ballard Clay County state championship game, Rupp Arena. 22,200 and change.
22,000 people.
It's like playing the University of Kentucky on the road.
Ooh.
Richie, Bobby Keith, Russ Farmer, Russ Chadwell, Allen Houston, Mark Bell. Yes, it's UK on the road. And we won't go deep into this, that they shot 38 free throws and we shot 13. There was no three-point shot. We won't go into that. We lose in overtime. Just leave that right there.
Right.
Semifinal, January, 6 months later, 8 months, 9 months later, Broadbent Arena, 6,000. They beat us in overtime, LIT semifinals. So now we've played double overtime, excuse me. So now we've played one overtime, one double overtime. We're 0-2. Now let's get to March 28th, Freedom Hall, 19,600 people. Sold out. Not a sold. Can't get one ticket. With under 6 to go, if they miss, it's 4-on-1, man. We're throwing lobs. I mean, it's let's go. Except Richie wouldn't stop. I switched Allen on him, Kenneth on him. I switched length on him, quickness on him, strength. I've tried everything. He gets 51. You don't even have to bring it up. He gets 51. But we win by 8 much the better. But if you add up 3 games, one double overtime, one overtime, one regulation. 45,000 people in 12 months. If you add it all up, scores tied.
Wow.
Larry, could you have more diversity than the coal mining sons of Eastern Kentucky? Coach Bobby Keith, the son of a coal miner, their players were. Our players throughout inner city of Louisville, throughout East Jefferson County, the richest going, and we had it all. Me from the South End, Bobby Keith from Clay. Could you have a more example of what high school and what sports should be, that you went out there and everybody just patted each other on the rear end and competed your butt off? It's perfect.
Right.
White, black, rich, poor. It showed it all. It's the greatest example, in my opinion, to go through that and look back. You don't realize it at the time. And, to put it in perspective, we walk out. The principal had rented out a downtown hotel for all the faculty and the parents and the players and everybody. And I know, Larry, you remember the legendary Bob White, the high school reporter. Everybody knew. It was if Bob White talked to you, you're big time.
Yeah.
And he walks out, and Mark Bell at the rear door of Freedom Hall, right at that rear door, turns to Bob and says, Mr. White, I don't know why Mark Bell and Bob White connected, but they did forever.
Right.
And he goes, I just have to tell you something. So this meant so much to me. And Bob's like, I'm listening to you, Mark. He goes, yeah, nobody knows this, but my dad died in February. And coaches told me that.
Wow.
So you go from this. And I'm right there with him walking out. And I'm thinking, man, this is coaching. There is such a big thing. And we got on there and went downtown to that. And I'm thinking of and to give you a reference point, who's with us the whole time? Everybody watches College Game Day. Chris Fowler's on it. He's the MC of College Game Day, right? He was a rookie at ESPN. He did a 3 o'clock to 3:30 show every Wednesday called Scholastic Sports America, which was high school sports. And that week, he spent the whole week at the Kentucky State Tournament, and he went to the celebration with us that night.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
The Chris Fowler was a rookie. And you know what they gave us? They gave us a banner, and we put it in our locker room. You know the banner they used to put on the scores table, just the fold-up banner. And we hung it in that locker room. We thought we were the coolest people in the world. But those years, I think, are important to young coaches that they do experience that. A lot of them, my own son's the head coach of Bellarmine. He didn't experience those things, not as a coach. And you see a lot of them, they don't. I mean, you go from playing to, boom, you're at the highest level. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. Nothing.
You get all of the emotions, the victories, the tough moments, the vulnerabilities, the teachings. You get all of these aspects and all of these lessons on this. It's almost like this linear line of coaching, right? And you have the ultimate of championship on this side, and then you have the lows of consoling a kid. His father died after a championship. You have all the experiences in between. And it just all gives you a feeling of fulfillment, right? That you just couldn't get doing anything else. That's priceless. And it's all brought together like by the game of basketball.
Larry, we won the 92 7th Region Championship, 2 o'clock tip at Fern Creek on a Saturday against St. X. I mean, you can imagine what that place is like. Ballard St. X, 2 o'clock on a Saturday, winner goes to Rep Arena. It's unbelievable. And DeJuan Wheat put on a show. No, I mean, he put on a show.
Oh,
Tubby's there. Coach Pitino is going to make a decision between Tony Delk and DeJuan, and thank goodness they took Tony Delk, who's a great player, but us Louisville people got DeJuan for 122 straight starts. And Miss Allen, bless her heart, I mean, I would never be sitting right here today without Miss Sandy Allen. Well, she believed in everybody. She literally rents out. She takes over the Johnny's restaurant on Barstown Road. And she's got all these same teachers, faculty, administrators, parents, everybody and their families there. And my family's there. Well, DeJuan's mother had gone to the game, but she had gone on home. DeJuan, Lorenzo McGinnis, Moselle, Kevin, Andre Gray. 5 guys in my car. I'll take y'all home. We get off 9th Street. Kevin and Moselle and Andre lived down off 38th, but DeJuan lives right there across the street from Village West. So Lorenzo lived 13th Jessup. We're good. We got it. I say, hey, man, Larry, they're going to the state tournament. It's 4 o'clock on a Saturday. How are you going to feel? Jumping out of your skin.
Yeah, excited.
So I'm going to drop them off, and I'm going to get out there to meet everybody. And I love this. I said, wait, you guys, what do y'all need, man? Y'all want to grab something? We just getting off right off 9th Street off 64. They go, yeah, come on, man, Coach, let's do. I said, okay, what? We ate White Castles on the hood of the car at 8th and Broadway. Wouldn't trade it for a thing. Then I took them all home, and I got out to Johnny's. Everybody's leaving. I'm like, hey, you know what? That's coaching.
Yeah.
And I think coaches who ascend those career ladders need to appreciate those moments.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, small moments.
I mean, that wasn't a charter jet. That wasn't a 5-star hotel and catered food. And DeJuan and I laugh about it. I mean, we're right there.
But those are good bonding experiences, like that you can't get coaching or.
Well, that's where they wanted to go. I didn't pick the White Castle.
Right, but like just moments like that,
You're
you know,
right.
you have bonding moments, conversation. You don't know what conversations might be had. It might be a time where a kid feels comfortable. He just feels like letting out something that's been on his mind or on his heart. And it just on the hood of the car, eating White Castles, he says, you know what, Coach? And he just opens up about something that he's been holding in. Like a lot of that is like lost in today's coaching.
Well, Larry, go back to me not having a dad. And my mom was a superstar. I mean, she was a superstar. You know, I get on all our business majors at Bellarmine. I said, hey, we'll give her credit. We'll give her 6th grade because we don't know because it was a one-room schoolhouse. We don't know, but we'll give one. It was grades 1 through 6, 22 kids. We don't know. We'll give her 6th grade. And she ran her own business for 43 years, successful. And you're in a Bellarmine University business course. No, don't tell me it's tough. and I think it goes back to that. Coaches, Larry, my high school coach, Coach Al Peffer, he today would be sued, in jail, charged, fired. Oh my gosh. But we all knew he was doing things for us, not to us. So he asked me. I'm a junior, and we're conditioning every Monday through Friday on the track. He says to me on a Thursday, says, I want you to meet me here at 9:30 Saturday morning. Yes, sir, Coach. He's a man of few words. Larry, what's going through my mind? Is he going to run me extra?
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
mean, I don't know. I mean, he was the JV coach when I was a sophomore. He became the varsity coach when I was a junior. And then he turns and goes, I'm going to help you. That's all he said. Get there a half hour early. He shows up. Ford pickup truck, light blue. Look out in the back of it. There's 2 metal garbage cans. And he goes, I'm going to help y'all out. You're younger than me. You take underneath. I'll take the track. No, not a blower, not a rake, not a plastic bag, a metal garbage can. Thursday came, and he paced me. He said, now, this week, Mr. David, which is now Holy Cross, they're going to play here on Saturday. So we'll do Saturday and then come Sunday after church, and I'll pay you again first. Well, Larry, you played at the highest level. What is the pressure on me now? What's everybody thinking about me? Sucking up to coach.
Yeah.
I got to make a decision, don't I? That's a hard decision. I mean, they're going to ride me out. You know, you're just
brown nose and
you're brown nose and coach.
Yeah.
I didn't know you knew the logo, the slang, the slang. And he's like, they're brown nose and coach. Man, Davenport he goes suck up there. But what was he doing? He was trying to do it for him.
Yeah.
Larry, he passed away. He taught U.S. history in this county for 43 years. Everybody has to take U.S. history when they're a junior. Think how many students he had in 43 years. He passed away. He coached at Manual, Iroquois. Eastern and J-Town. You think how many thousands of students he had. When he passed away, Larry, he said, no flowers. No flowers. Well, Larry, you may be a lot better man. I'm sure the O'Bannon family is. Unless I do it right on the spot. If there's a donut, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't want any. He wanted, because in retirement, he was bored to death because he's the most hyper individual ever lived. He started through his church out in J-Town, between J-Town and Fern Creek. He started clothing drives for kids all over this community, not his church, just everywhere. Well, he calls me and says, I need a favor. I said, yes, sir, Coach, what do you need? He said, I need some big size shoes. I got kids that wear 16s and 17s. And I bet your kids, when they get done with them, still in great shape. And you know they are. They've only been in the gym.
Right.
It went from Bellarmine, U of L men, U of L women, Bellarmine women. My last trip to meet him at his church, I had to borrow a Bellarmine pickup truck. I had so many bags of shoes. But when he passed, he wanted shoes for little kids.
Mm.
Everybody went in that funeral carrying. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever witnessed. They had been to Shoe Sensation, Dick's Sporting Goods. They had been everywhere. 2 for $1, 3 for $1 shoes. They were carrying them in there and I was a pallbearer. I went in there the next morning early and went to the office. I said, where are all the shoes? And they said, we got them all loaded in the garage. I said, what are you going to do? They go, call us Monday. We don't know. I call them Monday. And there was 553. I said, what are you going to do? They go, they're going to, I won't say the school, a needy elementary. I said, wait a minute. So those kids are going to go to school today. And they're going home with a brand new pair of shoes because of my basketball coach, and they didn't know him, never. They go, yes, sir. And I got in the car driving home to the cemetery, and I called Sharon. I said, Sharon, when I'm gone, I just want one thing. Shoes for kids, just like Coach did. That's what he taught me.
That's awesome, man.
Think of that. That's what he did. And if I can carry that on, and at some skill, Fraser Elementary or somebody like that, they all go home that day with a pair of shoes. Coach taught me well.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome, man. Hearing about your stories at Ballard, and you talked about DeJuan Wheat and talked about Allen Houston, 2 first-round draft picks, NBA All-Star, just 2 of the most celebrated players to ever come out of the city of Louisville. I want you to give me your all-time starting 5 at Ballard. And in turn, I'm going to give you my all-time.
Okay, you didn't tell me 5. Oh, my God.
Your all-time starting 5.
All right, let's have a draft.
And I'm going to give you my all-time starting 5 from the elite male high school.
All right, let's do this. Let's draft them.
Okay.
You go first. Oh, okay, you go first.
Oh, man, it's a lot of legends come through male, man. At the point guard, man, I don't know. Do I go Bob? I'm probably going to go Ralph Beard, man. I've got a chance to meet him.
My favorite people in the world. He went to the game. Remember Coach took him?
I got a chance to meet him, man, in high school, and he would come watch us practice, and he would sit and talk to me, man.
He's the best.
Talking about a great man. Great dude, man. Give words of encouragement. So I'm going to go Ralph Beard at
Coach
the point.
brought Ralph Beard on a trip. We're playing Florida. Billy Donovan. You remember the game?
Mm-hmm.
And he set Ralph next to me because Ralph used to come to Ballard practice because he lived right in the right block away.
Okay.
And, oh, my gosh, he was the best storyteller ever. And he knew it all. He appreciated everything. So you're going Ralph Beard? All right, then position-wise, I'll go DeJuan. We got DeJuan against Ralph.
Okay.
Do you know what Ralph's strength was as a player?
I do not.
Speed. He was a jet.
Yeah, he's 5'10", so I can imagine.
He was a jet before there was jets. He was. Now, we know how incredible person he was.
Right.
But this used to drive me crazy. So and he was a jet. That is amazing. Okay, so we got Ralph Beard, DeJuan Wheat. Okay. Wow.
Going Griff at the 2.
That's hard for me to position-wise. All right, I'll put Allen, and I'll move some others. I'll put Allen.
Allen at the 2.
And Allen, what people need to know, Larry, he's an advanced program student, graduated 4 years from Tennessee. I mean, Allen's 2 sisters. One was an Olympian on the long jump, and the other one is the CEO of the Johnson Houston Corporation. It's really sad that Coach Houston and Miss Houston, really didn't have their kids do very well. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like an all-star lineup.
Yeah, man, all-American family.
Isn't that amazing?
All-American family.
Okay.
At the 3, oh man, that's where it kind of gets tricky. I'm probably gonna go Jason Osborne at the 3.
I can get the 3. It's just after this.
Oh, Felton went to Eastern. Yeah, Felton didn't go to Ballard. Sorry, man. Throw Brandon Bender in your 5, man.
I knew driving out here. I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say it. Counter with the 3 with a Final Four participant, a Mr. Basketball, Jeff Lamb.
Jeff Lamb. Ooh,
state champion at Ballard 1977, Final Four participant at Virginia, Jeff Lamb.
Great choice. Great choice. At the 4, man, Dallas Thornton. I'm probably going to go Winston Bennett. Winston Bennett at the 4. Mr. Basketball. Went to UK.
Guys I coached against.
Yeah, played with the Cavs. Famous in the Jordan.
I'm going to go small. I'm going to go toughness. I'm going to go Lee Raker. Jeff Lamp's running mate. Lee Raker, Ballard had a history of drawing charges. Lee Raker probably drew more charges than anybody in the history of the game, not just included at Ballard. Lee Raker was his teammate, started all those games at UVA that went to the Final Four too, and won a state championship at Ballard. And Lee Raker was the ultimate blue collar man.
Yeah. At the 5, I'm gonna go Wesley Cox at the 5.
Oh my gosh. See, I could go small. But if I go true position, probably lean on Jeff and Lee Raker's teammate at UVA, Terry Gates. Terry Gates was he was a year ahead of them at Ballard. He led the way, and then the next year they won the state championship. They beat Mayo in 76. They beat Mayo and shot like an incredible, 73% from the field to win the game. They beat Griffin in. And then the next year they won it. But Gates was the cornerstone of that team. But where I run into trouble are the ones I coached, like I mentioned, Kenneth Martin. I mean, his story is everything that's great about sports.
Yeah.
He came out of the inner city. He goes on to get a degree. Then he goes on to teach, and he worked in the court, the judicial system. I mean, Kenneth is a rock. And you mentioned Mark Bell. I mean, it just never ends.
Yeah.
That's why I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's a load of talent. It's a load of talent from guys from Mayo. Man, I had Dallas Thornton,
you could go
Kenny Kuhn, Mike Bush.
Oh my gosh, Larry O'Bannon.
Yeah, I'm coming off the bench someplace. I'm gonna come off the bench someplace.
I'm serious. And you go and I go through, Coach Schmidt, Coach Salyer, and then Coach Renner, and after me, I mean, it's Keelan Martin. I mentioned. How about this though? Kenneth playing for me, winning a state championship, and Keelan, his son, then being, an all-state player at Ballard and goes on to Butler and still plays professionally. And the mom's probably arguably one of the best female basketball player in the history of Western Kentucky University, which we remind Kenneth of that very often. Keelan was like Christy. It was like Christy, not. No, it's hard. It's very difficult.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is, man. I think it's just a testament to two great traditions that produce.
Those
Coach. Shout out to Coach Payne, man. The great Coach Payne, Maurice Payne and Mel. But two historic schools, man, that just produce unbelievable talent.
Coach Payne is classy individual.
Yeah,
high school coach. Period.
Now talk about your transition from Ballard. 1996. You've been at Ballard for 10 years. And you were going and transitioning to becoming an assistant coach under the Hall of Fame and the late great Coach Crum at the University of Louisville. How did that come about, and what was that like for you?
Well, I'm not, Larry, this is uncensored, so I'm not going to hold back.
All right.
I was passed over twice. I was. And I didn't handle it very well. I really didn't. I'd kind of been led to believe. I mean, I didn't handle it well. And it hit a peak where finally Sharon says, you got to let it go. You're taking it out on everybody known to mankind.
Right.
And now Russ was born in 1985, right before I went to Ballard. And then Doug was born in 1987. The 2nd December I met Ballard.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what was so ironic about it is Coach Crum, it went on. And now I'm writing a book. So I've dug into every article and every resource I can find. I've found out a lot of sources now. And I've called a lot of people. Well, if you look up, I was named on July the 1st, 1996. When's the fiscal year at the University of Louisville start? July the 1st. Well, the coach that I took his place, some things happened, and that was probably the end of that contract.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you hire me earlier? I would have come free. I'm ready to go. And Coach Crum calls me in on that Thursday and says to me, I'm at camp. And you saw me work camp. And he's like, I'm over in this, we're in the SAC, and he sends over there, and he's like, tell Scotty, get over here, I need to talk to him. Well, it's lunch, and we're trying to get all those lunches in and out. It's,
right.
It's, and I race over there, and he's just as laid back. As a matter of fact, like, yeah, I'm hiring you. Just don't tell anybody until next week when we announce it. And this is like the 28th of June, so he wants to wait till July 1st. He goes, yeah, you can tell your wife and kids. So, Larry, I race back. Can you imagine going from where the basketball offices were over there to where the cafeteria where we ate, in the SAC?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not skipping and just happy. I'm like bouncing off the walls. But I can't tell anybody.
Right.
But it's Friday. And we're going to close camp, and we're going to have all the awards and this and that. So as we get over there, everybody's reassembling for the closure. Russ and Doug are in camp. Now they're 11 and 9. They're in camp. They're campers. So among all this, horns going on and whistles, and I'm trying to get everybody sitting in the right seats, and the parents are all coming in. I'm like, Russ, I need to talk to you. Dad, where were you? Dad, I was playing the one-on-one, and we got beat in the finals, but I won 3-on-3. I said, Russ, I need to talk to you. Doug runs up. Now here I am. I could put an X on the spot on the floor in Cardinal Arena. Russ and Doug, 9-11. I'm like, hey, Dad. Doug's like, Dad, we won 5-on-5. We won our division. Guys, I don't just say anybody. Dad, you won the lunch, and we had pizza today. I said, I was with Coach Crum. I got the job. And there's, on that X, I put the spot on the floor, there's 3 Davenports, all 9-11. From Central Avenue, you've taken a step. You've gone to Ballard, you've gone to Aaron's. And there's 3 Davenports just hugging. And people are like, what's going on? I race out in the hallway to kind of get my composure. Go back in, get with your group. Okay. You notice I've never mentioned Sharon in this. Couldn't find her anywhere. I'm calling. I've called her friends. I've called her mom. I've called my mom. I've called everybody. Can't find her.
Right.
Well, she comes in to pick her 2 sons up at camp. I race her out into the hallway. You know where I'm talking about, right outside the locker room. And I tell her, and now there we are. Go in. We have the closing ceremonies. I got some players, coaches, the airport, the bus station. We had overnight campers. I got to get them checked out of the dorm, 100 miles an hour going every which way. Finally get home. And she goes, well, everything good? And I said, yeah. I'm like, where? I said, yeah, Russ and Doug, they're out playing. They're doing that. I'm okay. And I said, I need to ask you a quote. Where were you? I've called everybody. She goes, I know. Let's go upstairs. We'll go upstairs to our master bedroom in our house. And I look at it, and I'm like, my God, Larry, there is a 2.5, 3 foot stack of clothes. Red sweaters, black dresses, red and white tops. No, it's this high. And I'm like, did you know She goes, no, I've been shopping all day, but if you didn't get the job, here are the receipts. It was all going back. And that's how that started.
That's awesome, man.
You know, Coach Crum, it's impossible to say what hadn't already been said about him as a person. And it was difficult. There was speed bumps that the program at that time hit from an NCAA standpoint. It was difficult. Coach Olson was the AD. You know, I had now named my son Doug after Doug Olson, who played for me at Ballard on the JV team, and that was Coach Olson's son. And Doug Olson was named after Doug that played for Coach Olson at Westport. So there were 3 levels of coaches all named their sons, and it was unbelievably, you know, gratifying. Coach Polio was one of Coach Olson's assistants that had hired me. So it was unbelievable. The late that we can talk about it now that Kenny Klein had passed us, he's right there, and it's unbelievable. I mean, you're just like, okay, let's go.
What was it like coming in for Crum? And, you know, the year you come in, you guys go to, I think DeJuan senior year, you guys go to an Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Then after that, you know, the program kind of started to descend a little bit. And you know, Coach Crum goes into retirement. Then Rick Pitino's announced as the coach.
Well, you're exactly right. Let's go to the day Coach Crum
retired. Okay.
So, and it was a very difficult, bumpy road. It was very difficult. The rules had changed drastically in terms of summer recruiting, et cetera, things of that nature. We had NCAA. We had a very difficult time with the NCAA on several different fronts, and those battles were ensuing, and people used that against you constantly. Recruiting was a ruthless, tough business. And I'll never forget that Thursday morning, and there was a lot being said. There was a lot said. And I had been told in February by tremendous leadership within that university, it doesn't make any difference what happens, and we don't have to take you this. We don't have to tell you this, we know, but we're going to just take care of those players. I said, yeah, you don't have anything to worry about. Well, Coach Crum walks in that morning very, very early, and I'm already in the office. And boy, he had a hop to a step, and he bounced by my office right down that hall, and my landline rings, and it just shows Coach Crum, and Scott, come here a minute. And I raced down there and sit down. And Larry, just like 5 minutes ago, he looked me in the eye and said, I'm going to retire at 3 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Practice was at 3. And I said, Coach, are you okay? And he looked me in the eye and he said, yes, I'm fine. I have spent the last 2-3 days with very, very close friends of mine, close associates, business-wise, otherwise, personally, and that there's a great life out there that I should enjoy it. And again, the rules were changing. And I said, Coach, you deserve that. And I'll never forget this, Larry. He had a pair of reading glasses, and he was just sucking on one of the things. He was just chewing. He looked me in the eye, and he laid them down. He goes, how can you say that? You've got 2 sons that are 16 and 14 years old. How can you say you don't know if you'll have a job? And I leaned forward, Larry, and I looked him right in the eye. I said, Coach, if I told you you should fight, you should do this, and you should do that for my sake, I just broke your number 1 rule in coaching. And he said, what? And I said, I would be selfish. And that's the one thing you have preached, never be selfish. And he looked me in the eye and said, and that's why I love you so much. And I walked out of the office. That's how long it lasted. I got in my car. I raced to Ballard. I raced to Cameron to check on Doug and Russ. I told them, got them out of class in the hallway. You want to go back with me? You can go to practice. And no, we'll stay in school. Dad, we'll stay. We're okay. But just want to let you know. Because, you know, there's people who are going to give it to you.
Right.
Oh, yeah, he needed to go. There's other people who are going to say, oh, he's the greatest.
Right.
And you know, think about it. They're 14 and 16 years old. That's not easy. But that's how it was. I went back and we beat Memphis on that Saturday with John Calipari. And then and Coach Crum went on into retirement and still did great things for the university. Now what? Let's go put the players first. My house, their dorm room, my office, locker room, 24/7. I'm going to be there. I mean, I don't care. And you knew them all. I mean, you were going to a few months away playing with them.
Right.
And I'm telling them, I'm telling them. And there's, I didn't sugarcoat, but there's 8 million rumors. We all heard them. You heard them. Everybody hears them.
Right.
Everybody in this city knew. It's University of Louisville basketball. And those weeks go by. And I will give Tom Drees tremendous credit because he was total transparency. And when he went after Coach Pitino, he was going to get him. He went after him. He said, I'm going to get him. What do you know about him? I said, well, I know everything about him. He coached at Kentucky. I listened to every radio show. I read every book. I know everything about him. Right. He's the enemy. He goes, well, I'm going to get him. And word comes. We got him. So Coach Pitino flies in. And I had met Coach Pitino, again, like we said, when he recruited DeJuan, but not like that. Just high school coach tongue to him.
Right.
And Coach Pitino flies in, lands over in Clark County on a private. And it's like, oh, Jay, I mean, my gosh, they're falling. Helicopters are following his little journey over across the bridge, right? We were at the downtown convention center. And he comes in, immediately makes eye contact. And he's like, Scotty. I said, yes, sir, Coach. I said, congratulations. He said, let me ask you something. What do you think I'm thinking? Like, what are you going to do? Right? He said, you think there's any chance I could meet with the players tomorrow? And I said, Coach, they're in a room right here. I got them in a private room right out this door. He goes, what? I said, yes, sir. I thought just in case they're right here. All of them? I said, yes, sir. All of them. And I walk in. Very, very brief. I said, guys, the head basketball coach at the University of Louisville, Coach Rick Pitino. He turns to me and said, Scotty, could you dismiss yourself? Could you leave? What do you think I'm thinking?
That was it.
Yep. I stood in the very, very back and watched the program, and he just kills it. I mean, he's just smoothest talker ever, just says all the right things. And I get in the car and I'm thinking, I gave Reagan a ride home. I gave Coach G a ride home, but I'm like, wow. Well, I don't know how this is going to be. And then 1 week, 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then I had him on the court every day. I mean, ever ready to go. He hires Kevin, he hires Mick, brings Fred, has me recruit Fred Hina, try to help him get Fred. I was overpowering Fred. I was wearing him out. After about a day and a half, every restaurant, every tour, do this. Fred said, Coach D, do me a favor. Chill, man. I'm coming anyway. You need to relax. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, man. And, one morning we got individuals at like 7:30, and I've got them on the court like 6:45. They're already wringing wet. I mean, they're just ready. And he comes in and says, I need to see you in Coach's locker. And he said, I've never cut a coach from a previous staff. I said, yes, sir, Coach, I'm aware of that. And he lost his train of thought. He goes, how? I said, Coach, I know everything. You were at Kentucky. I've read everything. I know. He goes, but I'm going to keep you. And I said, you'll never, ever regret it. He goes, don't tell anybody till next week. You can tell your family. We finish individuals, and we go up those 3 flights of stairs to that back door to the office.
Mm-hmm.
And I get ready to open it. And he hits it. And he goes, how old were you when your dad died? What were you, 11 or 12? I said, no, sir, I was 9. To tell you how thorough Rick Pitino is, and you know it, Larry, I mean, you know it better than anybody. Mm-hmm. He said, now, name me one thing your dad ever saw you do. I'm like, Coach, I was 9. And he starts rattling things. He ever see you get married or win a state championship or coach under Coach Crum or graduate from U of L or he just starts rattling off all these. It's like reading my resume. And I'm like, no, Coach, I was 9. He never saw me do anything. And how old are Russ and Doug? He knew their names. And he was a couple years off, but I tell him. And he goes, why don't you go see Reagan Ogden and get yourself in shape so it never happens to you and you grow up and see your sons do great things. And I lost 79.
Wow.
I ran the mini marathon this year at 70 years old. And he was the first person I texted. I said, thanks, man.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome.
How did he know all that? I mean, it's just amazing to me.
Well,
he hit it, though. I mean, he had buttons with you.
Yeah.
And then I'm there. And, your unbelievable, fabulous senior year, we go to the Final Four, and the whole journey, he's telling me I should, Bellarmine's going to be like, oh, you're going to be like Providence with me. You're going to have the greatest kids. And I'm like, Coach, we're trying to go to the Final Four, Coach. We're trying to win this NCAA tournament game. Don't worry about that. Your president, McGowan, yeah, I talked to one of his best friends. Oh, I got an email. He, like, every morning, Larry, like before those breakfasts, when the coaches get in, he's like, I'm like, Coach. And then we get back, everything, it's probably 3 or 4 weeks later. And I get a call on Wednesday night. The job's mine. And I meet with him Thursday morning, and he screams at me for 10 minutes. I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. And I look at him.
Sounds like Mike Polio.
I look at him like, what am I doing? I've already told him I'm coming. I walked into my office, and Kevin Willard is literally 2 inches behind me, just walking right up my back. Kevin goes, hey, Podsy, how messed up are you right now? He can hear every word because where Kevin's office was. He can hear every word. Right. He goes, how messed up are you right now? I said, Kev. He goes, I'm going to tell you something right now. You're never going to get a bigger compliment in your life, ever. I said, talk to me. Kevin, I don't know what's going on. He said, he doesn't want you to leave now. He said, no, he doesn't want you to leave. It's the greatest compliment you ever get. He doesn't want to lose you. He goes, but we're still going out. We're going out tonight at 6 o'clock. We're all going. And then Kevin kind of spearheaded the whole thing. I mean, is that amazing?
You can't beat that, man.
No.
You can't beat that.
How come, you talked about this 9-year run, the 2 years, plus the 2 years being a GA. The GA back then, it was different. I mean, I get a master's degree. I coach at Ballard. I get 39 hours over my master's to teach special kids. And then to coach under those two guys and a Final Four run. I mean, think of that. I mean,
can't.
No, you can't.
So let me ask you this: when you took the job at Bellarmine, and you finally came to that decision, what was your vision? What was your thought process when you was like, okay, I am back in the head coach's seat. I have a program, Division II program that I am in charge of. What's my vision of where do I want this thing to go?
Well, my life changed, and you were still at Male, and we had not started recruiting you yet, which I'll take full blame. I've told you a million times it's my fault, and I can take all the blame between you and Thorne. It's always my fault.
I got to ask Coach Crum about that. He was on the podcast. We got to talk about that.
Is what's ironic about that is Coach Pitino's, after we met that night at the International Convention Center, he met all the players in the meeting room.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed my life as a coach because he walked in there and he says, look me in the eye or I'll never trust you, number one. Number two, I'm going to coach you for the right reasons. He said, I got an unbelievable house in Miami. I don't need that. I got a place in New York. I belong to Valhalla. I have a great house here in Louisville. I don't need a thing. Then he goes, if I walk away from the Celtics in January, they're going to fire me. But I walked away. And by walking away, some form of $58 million is left on the table because people don't realize he was general manager, president, general manager, and head coach.
Mm.
He said, so I don't need a thing. I'm going to coach you for the right reasons. And I'm sitting there, Larry, this is how this is supposed to be. So my first meeting at Bellarmine, I'm coaching you for the right reasons. We're never going to use this word. We're not going to use the word, all this. I know you referenced it one time. Culture was becoming the hip word and all that.
Right.
I said, we're going to have a program, and your program is going to be academically and athletically to make you successful. Now, in my 20 years of Bellarmine, we added socially to that because that's a huge component of being successful.
Right.
And we're going to have, by definition, what is that? That's a plan. Program is a plan. So you're going to be part of a plan here.
Mm.
And then off we went. But when I met with him, I'm hired. Coach Polio is a commissioner now of the Mid-South Conference. He drives back from Pikeville just to be there for the little press conference. But when I met with the players that morning at 7:30, I kind of called on a little Coach Peace skill. I met him 7:30 on a Friday morning. The press conference was at 10, and they had 4 seniors: Matt Miller, Montonio Blake, Kyle Thrasher, and Calvin Fowler. And I asked all 4 of them to step out of the room. Already was hiring Eric Scott, already had an assistant, already had our trainer. I knew who that was. We're ready to go. And they step out. Well, what do you think? They think like I think. We're done.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right?
Yep.
But what I did, I said to everybody in that room, I said, I don't care if you're Eric Scott. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you've got to shoot 500 extra threes a day. I don't care if you got to draw 50 charges. I don't care. Loose balls. Those 4 are in college. They're seniors. They must have a winning season. They must, at all costs, have a winning season, no matter what you have to do. We have individuals that afternoon. 2 kids run together. I mean, Larry, we were playing the knockout one-on-one, and they bumped his. One cracked it. One catches the other one's jaw, catches his. He splits him wide open. The other one's got the cut here. I rush down to the hospital as they're waiting to be stitched up, and this all starts. But that's how we started it, that they were going so hard. Now, when they ran into each other, the next group is looking around the corner like, hey, who is this psycho?
What are we getting
These
into?
2 guys, Marcus and Matt, just split their heads on who is this crazy guy? and we ran, Kevin Willard and I ran the mini marathon the next morning. We had our last session of individuals at noon. So that's done. And the plan now, again, the program is, we're going to start it. And those 4 guys have gone on to do, all 4 of them are unbelievably successful. We won a game in Kenosha, Wisconsin to guarantee a winning season. We're going to go to the conference tournament. They hadn't even been to the conference tournament. And we got a winning season. Back then, we traveled with the women. I mean, we're not on separate buses. I came in and I took my sport coat off, hung it up, and on the whiteboard, I wrote Matt, Calvin, Mo, and Kyle winners. And it was 6 hours and 20 minutes from Kenosha to Louisville. And I ain't lying, Larry, it took 5 minutes. I've never heard say guys have so much fun all my life. We got beat by 2 in the conference tournament, and we came back, and there's 300-400 people waiting for us in the rain outside Knight's Hall. And Larry, Eric Scott and I went up in my office. I said, E, what are they going to do when we really win? He goes, I don't know, Coach, but we're going to. We're going to, man. We'll see. And those 4 are very, very. Kyle Thrasher was just named. He's now in charge of all the rehab at Norton Brownsboro, all of it. I mean, he's now, and that was Bellarmine's PT program. He's one of the initial people in it. Matt Miller runs MB14 or MM14. He's now in Chicago, Louisville, Southern Indiana, and Indianapolis. Calvin runs all of California and Enterprise Car Dealership. That was an internship. So I mean, they've done amazing things.
That's awesome, man. But one of the things you implemented that really became a staple for you was ball movement, player movement, and the style of play in which you implemented with the teams at Bellarmine. Where did that philosophy come from?
Just a combination. Coach Crum and Coach Pitino couldn't be more different personality-wise than any 2 individuals. But they both thought the game should be played the exact same way from a fundamental standpoint. In other words, dunk it with 2 hands or use the backboard. Get this angle. Now, difference? Coach Crum's a math major. He was very, use that 45-degree angle, Larry, and get it right on that square, right at that. And Coach Pitino, this unbelievably emotional, driven Italian's going 800 miles an hour, but they both thought the game should be played the same way, but they taught it totally different. So you got to teach the game the way you think. It was a combination of Coach Crum believed in having the floor lifted. That's why he always had a high post guy. Because if you start somebody on the block, what happens? The defense is at the basket. So that part. And then and Coach Pitino, from the NBA experience, it comes with a totally different mindset in terms of tempo, shorter shot clock, et cetera. And one of the things that I leaned on the most, and this was during the San Antonio Spurs and their Magic run, and, Coach, I just lost his name.
Popovich.
No, Greg Popovich had been a Division III head coach. And now he's run on this magical NBA run. So I studied his Division III teams in California.
Mm.
And how did they transition to the Spurs? Well, it was the same. So I'm like, okay, let's put all this together. And then it just kind of took off. But what happened, Larry, in time over the 20 years, it became a very, I don't want to use the word fun because I know you're supposed to be this tough, hard. It became a very enjoyable way to play, and it became a very enjoyable way to teach.
Yeah.
And then, show me somebody that's enjoying what they're doing, they're going to be good at it. And the players bought in, and they deserve all the credit. And they were very, very special. And then when you win, it helps.
Speaking of winning, your 2011 team, when did you know that they were going to be special?
So in 2010, the NCAA, there's 8 regions, and they're based on geography. And we were the 2 seed playing the 1 seed Findlay, and Findlay was undefeated. We're playing at Findlay. In that environment, that night, I'll give you one example without going into the whole thing. So the first half, we're shooting in front of their bench. Their entire football team was in that end zone. The entire football team. Second half, we're shooting in front of our bench. Their entire football team now is in front of our back. Oh, yes. There was a period, film doesn't lie, where they had to stop the game because, we would have a hard time inbounding the ball because of linemen up screaming and our guys. They were like, stop. What are we doing? It was tough. We hit we miss a free throw. Keep that in mind. With 16 and a half seconds to go. They have the player of the year in Division II. He goes down and scores. We come down, we're down 2. We hit a 3. Justin Benedetti hits a 3, elbow extended. He takes left, right step into his 3, pulls his right foot back, shoots it, bottom. We're up 1. We're going to the Elite 8.
Mm-hmm.
The official free throw line extended. He's 50 feet away, not the guy behind him. Lead guy sees nothing. The trail guy, he looks just like this. 3. The guy, 50 feet, the court's 50 feet wide, races over there, points 2. There's no review.
Oh,
he
wow.
overrules the other guy. They win the national championship. That national championship the next year was. There's a lot more to this story. The trail official was from our league. He's from their league.
Mm.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's not a lie. It's. But the national championship was won in it. That team in that locker room. And here's the irony. And Larry, this is one of the gentleman missed a bonus free throw at 16.5. 1 year almost to the date later, one year and 1 week later. He's the same guys at the line. And he is not our best free throw shooter. And they're talking. They know. Man, like last year. Hey, man, just like last year. They take a timeout to freeze him. Hey, man. Yeah, I know last year. He's not our best free throw shooter. He hits it. We're up 1, clinches. They throw the ball. He steals the long pass. He scores the last point of the national championship game 1 year later, and he steals the ball to end the national championship. Basketball gods, man.
Talk about a full circle moment.
How about that? Basketball gods.
That is cool, man. I mean, you had guys like Braden Hobbs, Jeremy Kendall, just to name a few, man.
Yeah.
Like
Nick Holmes, Justin Benedetti.
Special group, man, to bring a national championship to you.
No, you're talking 6 years before they won 9 games. And now you won a national. I mean, you're pinching yourself like it's this. But the president of the university at that time, Jay McGowan, was incredible. I mean, he had a vision. He was incredible, and he loved to win. Oh my gosh, he hated to lose, but he loved to win. He had the right guy. I mean, he did. He was. But, that team and what they've gone on to do is now, we celebrated them last February because we couldn't do it 10 years because of COVID. So we did 15. And it's really interesting now, Larry. They're all very, very successful. They've gone on to do incredible things. They've got incredible families. Their perspective now, 35 to 38 years old of college basketball, it's much like yours. It's very different.
Yeah.
It is.
I can imagine.
It's very interesting. Sharon and we had some things together with them before the game and after the game, and it's very interesting.
It is. So fast forward, 2020, Bellarmine decides they're transitioning to Division I. What went into that decision, and what was the adjustment you guys had to make going into Division I to Division I?
It was all about the university. It wasn't about just men's basketball, but in this community, it's going to be men's basketball.
Right.
I mean, let's face it, that's what's going to happen. And the commitment was made to put the university on a higher platform. Division II sports at that time, and it's still in a very uneven basis. Like we had 4 teams in Kansas City in our league. I mean, that's 8.5-hour bus ride. There was only at that time 3. Then it came down to 2. The last one just left. That was in the Eastern time zone. So every trip back is plus 1 hour. Yeah. So if you get back at 4 in the morning, you're really getting back at 5, and you got guys with 8 and 9 o'clock classes.
Yeah.
It was very difficult.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do this, let's do it at a higher level. Let's do it at a higher level. Let's see what happens. Bellarmine made a great commitment in terms of, okay, you're going to free scholarships
and everything.
Division II, you only had 10, but you could separate them and this and that. We met all the criteria, and who knows? The first year, hey, let's go Division I. Oh, by the way, let's do it during a worldwide pandemic too. Larry, here's the real story. Dr. and Mrs. Lynn, bless their hearts. He's all in. He builds us a locker room that is incredible.
Yeah.
The video area, the reception area, the refueling, it's incredible. So now we're Division I. Well, we don't even finish the school year during COVID, April and May of 20. So now it's our first meeting ever. We can get them back on campus July the 7th. July the 7th. Now I got the beautiful Mark and Cindy Lynn Center for Success to meet with them in. Where'd I meet with them? They stood next to their cars in the parking lot at Knights Hall, and I told them where gave them all different addresses, where to go get tested and where to come back and where to quarantine till the test came back. That was our first meeting. And we're going division.
Wow.
So we open up, though, and I'll give him full shout-outs. The first game, and I've got a huge poster-size wall picture of the initial jump ball, and it's in Cameron Indoor Stadium against Mike Krzyzewski and Duke. And the Cameron Crazies are paper cutouts. He was very, very sensitive. He's age and healthy. I totally respect that.
Right.
They would not let us fly because we were going to be on a plane. We were going to be in airports. So we drove, but we couldn't even stop at a rest area. We had food on the bus. We had everything. We got off the bus, checked in the hotel, and went into a meeting room to be tested. Played the game, and were tested outside our bus after the game. But we were willing to do it. It's okay.
That's crazy.
The last game of the year, we played for the conference championship. The conference regular season championship. We played Liberty. It was a 1-game winner take all. They beat us. The next year, we did something that had never been done in the history of college basketball. We won it. I mean, it'd never been done. And now I sit before you right now, and I'm still mad. I fought it harder, that transition rule where they didn't allow us. And I didn't want it. I knew they weren't going to let us, but we'd been lied to. And I didn't appreciate that. And then I begged them to look the players in the eye and explain to them why, because they wouldn't tell me why, and they wouldn't do it. And all I hear is we're about the players. No, you're not.
Right.
And now, I don't know if you see this new rule that's going through the Senate right now. They just let 2 football players move on up without ever sitting out. Sacramento State and somebody, North Dakota State or somebody, they don't just sit out. No, they just went right and play. No, and it just rips my heart out. Because I look those kids in the eye every day. I'm in there with them every day
Right.
at 6:30 in the morning. And all I want them to do is tell them why. Give me what do I tell our alumni? What do I tell our boosters? Give me John Bowe, the investigative reporter here in Louisville, did all this. Beg me to let him go with a camera to Indianapolis with 2 of our captains and knock on doors. And I just wouldn't do it.
That had to be tough.
It was
man.
tough.
It was a national story too. It was a national story, man. It was definitely
drew
a lot of
more
light shed on it.
attention to the name Bellarmine University than anything in history. It did.
Yeah.
And the relationships and what those kids, where it kills you is recruiting because everybody.
Yeah.
And we're one bid league, Larry. What difference would it make? We weren't going to keep anybody out. And we met all their criteria. That's what hurt me the worst. We were told we could play in the NIT the whole journey till we did it. And then they were like, no, you can't do it. I found out at 10:30 the next morning. And then I had to meet with the players. No, we ran up that ramp that night. We're in the NIT at the worst. Oh, we're in the NIT.
Right.
And we ran up that ramp and we were told, no, you can't. I said, you told us. I said, well, we were wrong. We did tell you. It had never been done before. That's why they never had to do it.
No, that's unbelievable.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate your support.
That is unbelievable,
I know.
man. That is unbelievable. Well, let me ask you this. The NIL era started, and it was toward the end of your coaching career. How did that affect you? And I know you and I have talked before, and there was windows where you thought you were going to have certain players, and at the last moment, three of your best guys got plucked by major universities.
Well, we just finished the 5 years of it.
Yep.
So let's go back to 2021. We thought we were ahead of it. We really spent a lot of time. And where we put our emphasis was paid internships. Morgan Stanley, Humana, ISCO, Norton Healthcare. Cook and Reeves. We had paid internships. It's now Baird Realty, but it was under Joe Reeves back in the day. Mm-hmm. We had paid internships. So it's $20 to $25 an hour, 12 or 20 to 25 hours a week. Before your junior year and before your senior year. 12 weeks. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But you graduate from Bellarmine on the Saturday after the Derby on Monday, you had a job. It might pay $75,000, $80,000.
Right.
If you do go professional, great. You got a Bellarmine degree in your pocket. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, okay, here, we thought we were ahead of it. Soon to get blown right out of the water. We thought we got you. It's paid off for so many though. I'm not second guessing. Many of these guys got jobs that they worked at these incredible jobs now.
Mm-hmm.
At the companies I mentioned. They have great jobs. They got futures.
Right.
And they did it. They used the game. They used basketball. You've heard me say it so many times, but they used the sport to get. It's just to think, Larry, an education at an institution like Bellarmine, short of the house you'll buy, will remove the biggest financial burden of your life, unless you had a medical catastrophe. So just you tell me you're coming, you sign, that responsibility of your life's gone. Now
it's $160,000 in 4 years.
Yes, sir.
It's a house.
Now, yes, a house. Okay, and it's $60,000 a year to go to Bellarmine.
Oh, my math is wrong. 240. That's 240. I thought it was 40,000.
No, it was then.
Oh,
no,
okay.
you're right. No,
Okay.
You're right. No, I'm talking about now. But no, when recruiting that guy, you were 100% right.
Okay.
Think of that though. By you telling me you're coming signing that, you getting these internships, you get this job, and you're like, okay, boy, that responsibility's gone. And that's where I think, priorities have changed a little bit. That scares me. Everybody asks me about NIL right now, Larry. Everywhere I go, my answer's the same. I worry about the players.
Yeah.
I'm worried about them, Larry. I'm worried about them. I'm worried about them when they're 32 years old. I talk to Kevin and Mick still all the time. And I worry about the players. I do. Are we doing them? here's another thing I use, and this would be great for everybody. Give you a pop quiz. You're killing me with the Ballard Mail starting five. When I give a corporate talk, Division I, Division II, Division III, NCAA, not NAA, not JUCO, just NCAA Division I, II, III. Male, female, all sports. How many athletes? Division I, II, III, male, female, all sports. Look, I got him on the spot now.
Oh, man.
I know. It's impossible.
Yeah, I'm going to say...
It's impossible.
I'm going to say 250,000.
Oh, wow. I'm going to give you an A+++. September of 25, after school had started, there was a census. It's 554,000.
Mm.
So you and I are talking about NIL. What are we really talking about, Larry? We're talking about that, aren't we?
A finite amount, yeah.
Just a few. And I worry about the young people. I do. I know what people in the system did for me. We've recounted it wasn't easy. And I worry about the young people. I do. That's my biggest concern is the young people. The coaches and their part and all this and that. I don't know how the universities sustain it. I'm like everybody else.
Yeah, it's tough. I think everybody's in the same boat trying to figure it out as well.
It is. And, there's 365 Division I men's basketball teams.
Yeah.
Just to put that in perspective.
Yeah. But football is the one that's really the driver of it. Is basketball is a big chunk of it too, but football is the bigger portion of the pie.
But you think about it, there's only 360 NBA players in the world.
Yeah.
And a third of them now are international. So you really have no chance.
The percentages are dropping. That's for sure.
Yes. And that's why I'm worried about. And I'll answer this. I'll confront you. Why can't you do both? Why can't you did? Larry, you did both.
Mm-hmm.
You did school and you did academics and you did athletics. Why can't you do both? That's what I worry about.
Well, you need both because you need to know what to do. If finances without education is a disaster waiting to happen.
Larry O'Bannon, my hero. My hero.
Coach, let me ask you this. Your son Doug's taking over the Rays. You retired, son. He's taking over the program at Bellman. What was your advice to him when you passed on the program to him?
Doug, I met with Doug like every rising senior during the spring of his junior year. And we really tried to concrete where these internships were going to take you, et cetera. This is when Doug's playing at Bellarmine.
Mm-hmm.
And I called Doug in on his, and I said, Doug, now you got a dual major, business and business. I just lost the other one. Oh, business and political science. I said, Doug, law school, political science, or Wall Street with business? Coach Pitino had all these ties with Wall Street. I said, Doug, what do you? He said, Dad, I'm going to be a basketball coach. That was the end of our conversation. And I'm like, he made 7 Bs his entire career at Bellarmine. I wish I'd made 7 when I was in college. He made 7. But he gets out of Bellarmine with Chris Mack, Pat Kelsey, Travis Steele at Miami, at Xavier 2 years, of which one we beat them. So that didn't go really well in the family.
Hmm.
And then he's hired. We're in New Orleans, and Doug calls me. We're at the Final Four. Louisville played Kentucky in that Final Four in 2012. And he calls me, and he's like going crazy that he just got hired by Pat Kelsey at Winthrop. And I mean, Sharon and I go out and have a drink, and we're like, oh my God, he got a job. We get back to Louisville. Sharon drives to Cincinnati, and Doug had a pass-me-down car, and he's going to move. She's going to load his car, and he's going to drive to Rock Hill, South Carolina on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to come back, and then she'll stay until his belongings are shipped by one of these small movers, and they'll just ship whenever they get somebody going that area.
Mm-hmm.
This is on Thursday. I get a call Monday morning about 6:50, And, you know, your life changes under Coach P, and that phone just stays about a matter of inches from your ear. And it's Coach P, and I'm like, morning, Coach. I'm out. I'm asleep. Scotty, I really have messed up. I should have heard Doug, and I've really messed up. We're going to be really, really, really good. I need him. I need you to have Doug call me at 7:30. And I said, well, Coach, he goes, I'll make it all right. I know. And you know how it's over, conversations.
Yeah.
Called Doug. I said, hey, Doug, what's going on? And he goes, Dad, we got a recruit on campus. He came in last night. He's great. This kid's this. And he's just, you know, hyped up. First job ever. He's been on the job 3 days. It's Monday. And I said, Doug, where are you now? Well, Dad, we're going to campus tour, but we're having a big breakfast first. I said, you need to go somewhere where you're by yourself. Well, you know, think about in his mind, it could have been his mom, or it could have been something in the family. You know,
Think you got bad news.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he races outside. He goes, Dad, what's going on? I said, Doug, 7:30, you need to call Coach Pitino. You just go by yourself, call Coach Pitino. He called me at 7:35 and said, Dad, he just hired me. This is Monday. He moved to Louisville on Thursday. He moved 3 times in 8 days. And he's going to do all the video by himself. Nobody else, by himself. I know. So I had one talk. I said, Doug, I know they're going to pay you. Bank every penny you make, because you're living in Minority Hall. Your food's paid for. Bank your hand-me-down car from Mom. Bank every penny, because your next job, you're not going to make what you're going to make this year.
Right.
Just do that. He said, I will, Dad. I will. He said, well, what's the second thing? I said, your life just ended. You're going to be with him. Just, Doug, it's over for the next whatever. I'm telling you. And the horn goes off, and all the fireworks and the things and that in Atlanta. I'm 3 rows back, and somebody, you know, all the melee, you know, and somebody grabs me crying and goes, how about the Davenport family? That's 2 national championships in 3 years. I said, get out there and celebrate with me. And he runs back out there on the court. I'm just standing there.
That's cool.
I mean, he, you know, I wish, given a perfect world, he had paid some other steps. You know, Xavier, Louisville, they was at Eastern briefly, but, you know, the other steps I take. But I know it's I so totally realize it's a different era now. It's different and all that. So, but this is a job that he's passionate about. He went to the university. He loves the university. He is Bellarmine. He knows what it is to play at Bellarmine. He knows what it is to be Bellarmine.
Right.
I ran over there the other morning because it was pouring down rain here, and there was a soul in the building. Not one, it was very early. Not one. But I went in the locker room to put my keys and stuff down. And he's gotten some new graphics, and it just says, be us. And I ran pretty good that day. Pretty proud.
That's pretty cool.
He knows what us is. And it's different. I mean, it is.
Yeah. Coach, you're a pillar in the community. You're a connector of people. You ever thought about getting into politics or running for office, man?
All I think about in that regard is helping people. It drives me. I mean, I've got great friends. Jerry Abramson was on our staff at Louisville. Greg Fisher, my gosh, he traveled with us, went everywhere. Yeah. Craig Greenberg's a Ballard grad. I mean, he was at pep rallies. I watched your show last week. I mean, I've got, you know, but and John Yarmouth fought for us. Oh, we fought the NCAA all the way through Washington. Oh, we had them all involved. Andy Bashir, during COVID's son, came to our camp. And I'll never forget this. As many camps as I've worked, Larry, and as many hundreds of thousands of kids, he comes, and there's guys have to go station to station with him, like security people. And I finally get to him late in the first day. I'm like, hey, man, I know you're just doing your job. I get you. One of my best friends, David Lee in the world, United States Secret Service on the presidential detail, Matt DeMasters, Bellarmine grad, presidential detail. I get it. I understand at the highest level. We're fine, man. He's okay. Just stay in this gym. They're always going to circle back to her, but we rotate gyms.
Right.
Hey, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. Trust me, I got him. Well, the next day, the big SUV would park at the back of the parking lot and just stay there all day. And they would come in. I said, come on, you guys come in. We got lunch for the campers. Come on, and take care of them. But Andy Bashir became such a fan that when he would come to Louisville, and let's say he had a 2 o'clock or something, he'd just bounce on our lot, just come walking in. And in 22, when we won the A-Sun, he had us to Frankfurt, but not up into the Capitol. No, we were in the living quarters. Oh, we had basketball goals on the back of the doors, the Nerf balls. Oh, we were in the living quarters, and we had a ball. So, I mean, I'm just about people. I'm just not, I can't believe you asked me that when I'm like, that's Larry's heart.
See, he's already getting great practice in because he didn't say no. He didn't turn it down. He just went and gave a great answer to a great question, but he didn't answer it. I mean, that's politics 101.
Larry, if my family sees this, they will rip you. No, it's
Coach, this is the part of our podcast we like to call What's on Your Feet. Now, you text me really excited about the shoes that you selected. Talk about what's on your feet. Tell us about the shoes selected that you got on the podcast
today. Can I
today.
start what leads to my feet? This was a gift. My first game I ever coached as a head coach at the University of Louisville. And one head coach named Rick Pitino, the PA man in Freedom Hall, started a reading. And then just some gentleman walked up and grabbed the mic in mid-sentence and said, I got this. And presented me with a watch that is engraved, him thanking me for everything and from everybody that he gave me. That's my first game I ever coached.
Nice.
Now the clock's ticking down. We're only down 8 points. And Taekwon's trying to talk to me. He's just dribbling it out. But he's in front of their bench at midcourt. He's just across. And he's yelling back at me, and the clock's just ticking on. And I'm like, Taekwon. He's trying to give me the game ball. And I'm more worried to go to thank Coach Pitino for the watch and everything he's done for me in my life. Well, we get to the locker room, and I'm talking to the team. This is my first game as a head coach ever in college, and I'm talking to the team after the game, and the door just burst open, and it's Taekwon. Coach sends him over and said, go give him that first game ball ever. And he makes Taekwon, he's talking to his team, go in there. He barges in the door. All right. 2011, November the 12th, Louisville versus Bellarmine, hosting Bellarmine.
Mm-hmm.
Same scenario, except now it's 6 years later. He grabs the mic. He knows, and you had to reference it. You all in cahoots about me stomping my foot, right? And that how my shoes, and I'm superstitious. I'm not going to get them resold. I'm not going to get them redone because I'm superstitious. We're winning it. He presents me with a pair of Gucci ostrich skin loafers. Larry, my son's argument is every shoe in my lifetime added together would not cost what these cost. And I don't think somebody asked me if I ever wear them. I said, only to bed. I don't think I would go barefoot before I would wear them outside. But once on your feet, now you know why I'm so pumped up.
I don't even think I can match the style and the swag of those. The Gucci loafers, Coach. Ooh.
Now, and let's be honest, this is Vinny or Jeff Noy, somebody in New York City, isn't it?
For sure.
That he had. Oh, it is.
For sure. I wouldn't picture you going by yourself no Gucci loafers. I wouldn't picture that.
So when you sent me that, I was like, oh, he's got to be kidding. Wait, I'm going to do this, man. I'm putting these on. Is that?
I'm already lost where I can't top that, man.
So they're,
top that.
it's 2026. That was 11. And he did them for the national championship. He had a video up there. It's a whole bit how proud he was, and it was that fall and all that. I mean, what do you do, Larry? I mean, you just and he. The one thing I will say this about Coach Pitino, it's not like, yeah, here, take these shoes. Yeah, I had to do this. I mean, he enjoys doing things for people.
He does.
There's a big difference when you enjoy doing something for somebody versus when you feel you have to.
Yeah.
Like, okay, do you agree?
I agree.
He's like that.
I agree. Because I can name a ton of people that have really, because Coach know he demands a lot of your time, of your energy, your effort. And so when he gives, it's a sincere appreciation from a deep place of thank you when he does do that.
It's unbelievable, Larry. His second year, we went up after practice one night, and he calls everybody to the conference room. Well, at that time, the first year, he gave every former assistant coach that he had a tie in whatever team they were coaching, NBA, NCAA, a tie in their colors. He himself would go to New York and buy these ties, and he had this massive list. You can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's year 2. We go upstairs after practice. You've never heard of this story?
Mm-mm.
And he calls us in the conference room, and I thought we were going to go in there and talk about practice. And I went in there, and I look around. He had flown his tailor from New York in, and he bought every one of us a tailor-made, handmade suit from New York.
Mm.
Well, total disclosure, uncensored. Larry, I never had a tailored suit. So I just kind of kept milling around, just I didn't know.
Right.
And Kev come up and goes, Pods, you okay? I said, no, I'm not Kev. I have no idea what I mean, some of them just, these books of materials. Well, like Kevin, I told Kevin, if I wear wool, my gosh, I would sweat bullets. And Kev said, go in the office. I go in there. He goes, all right, go back in there and just do whatever I do. What can't you wear? I said, I can't wear anything wool. He goes, okay, you've never done. And I'm embarrassed at no end. I mean, and I go in there, and Kev said, okay, just we get through it. And Christmas comes, and the suits come. And the guy flies back in to give them to us and tucks them up, and I'm like, it stays one day and then puts them on us and all that. And I drive to, my mom's still on Central Avenue, so I drive over there. Well, my mom, being from the country, had sewn her whole life. I mean, that's how you had clothes.
Right.
Well, in retirement, she got into, well, she did before retirement, but she just took all her days were quilting, handmade quilts. And I walk in with this suit, and she opens it up. And I mean, she went through every thread. She's like, Scotty, this is like, I mean, you would have thought she was looking at the royal king of work. And she's like, she opens the inside thing, and there's my name in it. She goes, oh, you will never wear this. It says Scott Ard. She goes like, you will never wear this now, will you? Never. You will never wear this. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, it was shirt. It was everything, tie, shirt, suit. And my mother was just overwhelmed. And I'll never forget when my mother passed away, Coach came to the funeral home, and he's looking around, and there's on her casket was a quilt, her last quilt. And he goes, what is this? He's from Long Island. He didn't know you make quilts. Go buy them.
Right.
And I explained it. And then he said, well, this is unbelievable. What do you mean she? I said, yes, sir, she made it. I said, come here, Coach, I need to talk to you privately. And I went and told him the story about the suit, and we both cried. We're at my mother's visitation. We both cried. And I wore her suit and gave the eulogy the next morning.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
And he and I went off. It was very crowded. We went off by ourselves what we could do. Again, I think coaching and relationships impact lives.
For sure. Well, Coach, man, I got some Jordan 9s, man. A little more urban, a little more sporty, man. So that was my shoe of choice today, man. Some of my favorites. I'm a red and black guy. I'm Cardinal through and through. So
I know, but you're wearing Jordans.
I know.
I know. But Larry, you're going to get in trouble, man. Hold on. Let me move over. Larry, you wear whatever you want to wear.
Yeah, man. Well, Coach, man, this is a part of our podcast that we like to call our barrel-proof segment of rapid-fire questions. We're going to shoot you some questions. Don't give it a whole lot of thought. Just give us your first answer. We're going to roll with it.
Ready?
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Favorite restaurant?
Pat Steakhouse.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that. I knew that.
You were there.
Something that makes Scotty D laugh.
Grandchildren. Oh, my gosh.
Toughest player you ever had to coach against?
Kenyon Martin.
That's for anybody.
Huh?
That's for anybody.
Yeah, that one caught me off guard. That I ever coached against, I'd say Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon Martin, yeah.
He was a beast, man.
Yeah.
Beast.
Souvenir of choice when you travel?
Just memories.
Memories.
Yeah, I just want to take back memories.
Yeah.
I'm
a golf ball guy.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you really?
I got a big bowl of golf balls. When I travel places, I collect me a golf ball. I won't ever play with them, but I just like having a big bowl.
My oldest
of golf
son,
balls.
Russ, took me to Greensboro for retirement last October.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Titleist shop. He bought a dozen Titleist golf balls that match my game, but you number them by the sleeve of 3. There's 4 sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers are 88, Ballard State Championship, 5, U of L Final 4, 11, National Championship, 22, A-Sun Championship. They are displayed in my house. Out of the sleeve, there's the 4 of them by number. There you go. Larry. Russ should be your man. That's awesome. That's what he gave me.
5 seconds on the road, ball out on the side. You going for the 2? You going for the win?
5 seconds.
Down 2, ball out on the side.
I'm going for the 2 at the rim.
Going for the 2
because you open up the chances of getting fouled.
Yeah.
And then you might get an and 1. That's the only way you can get both. You can get an and 1, or you can get the 2. And they're going to pressure you on the perimeter, because they can lose that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I would try to risk and get the and 1 where you could do both inside. I would go something at the rim.
Coaching. Better memory, 1988 state championship or 2011 national championship?
Wow, that's impossible. That's impossible to answer, because those teams were so different in terms of my life. But here's what's ironic. With better memory, I'll tell you what. Here's what's ironic. You don't think there's luck involved in this? The Ballard team was 36-3. We played 39 games.
Mm-hmm.
And we started the same lineup 39 straight times. The Bellarmine 2011 national championships, they were 33-2. We started the same lineup 35 straight. So what's that? You got to be lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, the injuries like we had when you were low. I mean, you got to be. Is that amazing?
It is.
That there is a certain amount of just luck in it, that those 2 championship teams started the same lineup every game.
You know what, man? I think about the memories from the Final Four, and they're awesome. I remember you and I sitting on the bus after Louisville Live, and you telling me this is something that you'll remember for the rest of your life. Said you don't understand it now, he said, but you remember. But the one thing that haunts me to this day is my state championship. Losing in the state championship game. That is one thing that kind of overshadows, even though I had a good college career, that state championship, man, that was something I still
we lost in
remember.
the state championship the year before, Larry.
Yeah, but you redeemed this.
But if you had a year left, and that next year we did get on the road, man. We got on the road.
Yeah.
It was, we were up in a regional championship. I mean, you're down to go to the Final Four. You're down to go to state tournament. And there was a point where we were up 38 points in the third quarter. And we beat J-Town by 1 during the regular season. And we're up 38 points. And I'm like, we're not up 38 points. And Mark Bugg screams at me. He's like, yeah, 73-38, 73-35. That's 38 when I went to Iroquois. Yeah, we are. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And we were on.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was that locker room the year before in Rough Arena. We got
Yeah. See, we had upset Ballard the year before when they had just come off a state championship. So we had beat them, and we had lost to Lexington Catholic in the Final 8 the year before.
Haney, that's right.
Yeah. And so we came back that year, preseason #1, trying to be the first team to go from start to finish. And
Who was your whole lineup? Give me your 5.
uh,
Because I'll remember.
Johnny Mathis, Adam Burks, myself, Greg Ballard, Mike Bush, and LeVar Carter.
Yeah, I knew Mike. Okay,
Yep.
LeVar Carter. That's what I
Yep,
remember.
LeVar
That's
Carter.
It, yeah.
Yep.
I saw Michael Bush. They brought him in. My favorite Michael Bush story. They brought him in, just 8th grader, brought him to campus just to look around. He's 8th grade. And recruiting was different back then.
Right.
He came in, they brought him into Cardinal Arena, and he's just in there kind of hanging out. He takes a ball off the rack, literally took 3 steps and dunked the you-know-what out of it. And he was in the 8th grade. That was the first time I'd ever seen Michael Bush face to face. And I'm like, oh, my God. Is that amazing?
Coach, we call this question franchise, sign, or waive. You got to franchise a guy, you got to sign a guy, and you got to waive a guy. So I'm going to give you 3 options, but you can only keep 2. We're going to go best shooter edition. You got Ray Allen, you got Reggie Miller, you got Klay Thompson. So you got to franchise somebody. You're going to build your team around. You got to sign somebody you're going to keep. You got to waive the 3rd one.
I'm going to build my team around Ray Allen.
Smart man.
When he was shot, tragically, I'll never forget Kevin Willard flying to go literally hold his hand because he was one of the greatest people ever. Wait a minute, I'm wrong. Yeah, it was Ray Allen.
Ray Allen?
It was Ray Allen when he was with the Celtics. Or was it Paul Pierce?
No, it was Paul Pierce.
It was Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce got stabbed.
So I'm going with Paul Pierce.
No, Ray Allen. You got Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Klay Thompson.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll go Ray Allen as
Ray
my
Allen?
franchise.
Okay. Who are you going to sign?
All right, I'm getting rid of Klay.
Get rid of going to keep Reggie?
I'm going to keep Reggie. Reggie had a little more old school in him.
Yeah.
Here's how I look at Reggie.
That's tough, man.
You know what? There's a fine line between being arrogant. He kind of
toed the line.
Well, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he toed the line.
I mean, doing the gesture, the whole thing too.
The choke, yeah.
What was it?
Spike Lee.
Yeah, Spike. Yeah. So he toed the line, but I know his sister's, her legacy, and all that. I would say I would go Reggie Miller.
Last thing before we let you get out of here, Coach. When it's all said and done and all your players come back and sit around you in your dinner and telling stories, what do you want the story to be about when they speak about Coach Davenport?
There was never, ever an instance where that's not his job. If the laundry's in the dryer and the washer is done, put it in the dryer. If, the walkthrough's over and you're bringing a home team, you're at home and the team's coming in, the backboard's smudged and got things all over it, all that, clean it. I gave a talk one time at Farnsley Elementary when the school opened. And they had all the parents in, all the teachers in, all the students in. It's a brand new building. Brand new building. And it was a dinner thing. I'm sitting up there waiting. I'm ready. And I looked. Brand new school. It's the first time nobody's been in there except, in a mass. And there was probably 3 or 4 plates, cups, whatever. Just missed garbage. It just laying there. And I was sitting there. And I was trying to count and multiply how many people walked by. So the principal goes, Coach, you ready to go? Give me 15 minutes. I said, I'm ready. Oh, it ain't going to take 15. And I got up and I said, congratulations to all of them. What a beautiful building. Now, here's my reference point. I went to Fraser Elementary. It's built 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
Olmsted North now, which was Southern Junior High.
Mm-hmm.
They did an addition the day I left. Iroquois, they built onto it the day I left there too. I'll leave you alone. They built it young. Everything, you want a new building, just get rid of me. But I said, I've just watched 438 people walk by that trash that's on this floor. this brand new floor. And I walked over and picked it all up and threw it away. And I said, take pride in everything you have, and you'll never. That principal, she followed me to the car. I mean, she's that's like the greatest thing. If you take pride in everything you do. If I told Larry O'Bannon in a huddle, Larry, I'm taking you off. You can't guard him. I'm taking you off. Oh, Larry O'Bannon's going off on me. He ain't going to let me tell him that because Larry O'Bannon had unbelievable personal pride. Pride would be the core. How hard is that? And if everybody in a room wants the same thing and willing to do whatever it takes, that's powerful. A family, a neighborhood, Miss O'Bannon's third grade class, a community, a state, a country. How powerful is that? Sounds easy, but it's not.
Coach, couldn't think of a better way to wrap up the podcast, my man. Appreciate you coming on the podcast. And that's how we're finish up on the Players Perspective Uncensored podcast. Till next time, catch you guys later.